Okay, so here we are on our mid-month qualifiers call. The reason I really want to pop this call in the middle of the month is because it's going to give us a good projection of our last 15 or 16 days, pending if it's a 30 or 31 day month. So for the first section, I just want to go over some basic checks on how to do that, to find out what you're on, and then it's open for Q&A, because the only way I can help you is figure out where maybe you might be going wrong. So at the moment, we have just Jack on the line, which is fine because I'm going to use Jack as an example if you don't mind. So I'm just going to share my screen. So you obviously know how to get to your downline growth report, Jack, and you know, or anybody that's watching this, you know how to find your customer genealogy report in the VO.
Yeah.
If you don't know that, please ask at this point in time, or just go into the qualifiers training and start on day one, and it's definitely going to show you. So I'm sharing my screen. So let's start with the downline growth report. So I've already pre-organized this, but I'm using Jacqueline as an example. So you can see I've highlighted her name. For November, her PV points are here. So she's on 244. So we're aiming for our 1800. The number underneath, if you have a number underneath, that usually indicates a decline, and that might not be your own decline. It might be within your organization, but that's okay. At least we are aware of it at this point in time, and we can look at our report and then follow up. There's some really cool verbiage as well at how to follow up a person that may have declined, because their card details may have faltered, or they might not have any funds, but there's a really gentle approach at how we can reach out to that person. So it's not all bad. Oh, I don't know why that's extended pink. I want to undo that. The other one that I did pink on this side here is 1703. So for the purpose of this month, Jacqueline obviously qualified last month, so SDVF qualifier, and because she hit over the 800 mark, this section here for October, you can see is excess. That is available to you to tap into if need be. However, to have good, successful, thriving business, we want that to hit 1800 and never be used, because it's really just a last resort if something happens in your business. So we always want to be self-qualified, and that usually looks like 20 customers. So going back to what we're working out, so there's 244 points. So I usually write that down on a piece of paper, and then I come to my customer genealogy report, and let me explain what I've done here with Jacqueline. So please just remember the privacy of this person's information. It is for educational purposes, and yours may vary pending if you have international orders as well. So we will definitely go into a three-way thread with your mentor and myself, or if you just want to directly contact me about your personal information and how we can get you to your points and calculate the points in other countries. So I'm in Australia at the moment, Dina. Thanks for jumping on, but I will touch base on USA. So Jacqueline here, I have highlighted, and this is what you would do when you have your customer genealogy report. You would have a look at the column here, which says 4I. So if it says 4I, that means 4 installments. So that means that a deduction for a customer will come out over this period of time. If you have a look at the example, there's a 2I down here. That means the Berry Amigas have come in 2 installments. So the 2 installments usually come out on the first month that they order, and then the second month. They still have 2 extra months before a reshipment. But when it comes to those other 2 months, you will not have those points available to you for qualifying. I hope that made sense. You'll also see there's one here that's just a 4 by itself. That means it's paid in full. That was a 30 shakes paid in full. That was for another month. So technically that is not calculated in your points for qualifying this month. So the highlighted ones, it's American. It's American. So you can see the date is in the middle. So the 25th of the 11th pretty much is the last date. So we know on the 25th of the month, that's beyond the 15th. So anything above the 15th means there's orders to still come out, and that's what I've highlighted here. So we check the dates. So you can see the second one isn't highlighted because that came out on the 2nd of this month. So that's already been calculated in the 244. They're all active at this point. The only decline that I can see is Victoria. She has cancelled her order, which is fine. That happens, but her last payment declined at this point. So there is a plan with head office. They do have a system that retries that. However, if that doesn't tend to be fixed up within the 24-hour period, we tend to make contact with our customer if they are talking with us, and also emailing or calling head office to fix this up. This here for Jacqueline, if she was relying on her own points to qualify, because of this decline, that she cannot claim those points. And that could be the 90 points or the 100 points she needs to get to 1800, which could then unfortunately not get her qualified. So we love to be on top of our declines for that purpose. Okay, what else can I tell you? Pretty much the last column is important because this is how we calculate it. So you can see there's 120 choc shakes. That's the pack. The Amigas, capsules is fruit and veg. Premium is, our trio. And so from this point, we go into our qualifiers album. You can see all of the points for your designated country. So, you'll see Australia with a list, New Zealand with a list, and it breaks down the points. Hopefully you know how to get there. If you don't, please go into the qualifiers album. You know how to get into bib, and have a look, because then you'll see 120 choc shakes works out to be 107 qualifiers points. So I would write that down for Jacqueline, 107. The Amigas works out to be 45.25, so I would write that down. The capsules is 59 points. The premium are 92.75 points by 2, because she's got 2 premiums. Oh, she's got a premiums and chews. Add another one to the tally. Caps, okay, she's got 2 caps, write that down. So I do a tally and then I calculate that. So do you follow, Jacqueline, since you're on? Does that make sense when you're writing it down? Yes, cool. And then once you know, like each of them, you've got them, get your calculator out, you add them all up, and it'll come to X amount of points to add to the 244. So at this point, we can say that they're all active and they're going to go through. Sometimes we might get to the 25th and we've calculated, yep, Tina's order is going to come out on the 25th, she's active, and then we do a report the next day to check and it's declined. And then we go, oh my goodness, we've calculated that. What happened to Tina? So we need to get onto that decline pretty quickly, get her active again, get those points back onto your tally, and then that'll get you hopefully to your 1800. So this, I've just calculated here with Jacqueline, her own self-qualifying. So at this point, she would not self-qualify with the amount of customers she has. She has quite a few, and that's great. But it's I really want to acknowledge at this point that you have team. You guys have growing team. And until your team hit SDVF, they are your qualifying points also. So again, just for privacy here, you can see that Alicia is Jacqueline's teamie. However, none of these points go towards Jacqueline's qualification because Alicia is now an SDVF. But Jacqueline has Rhiannon and Joe, and those points will go to her qualifying total. So you can see there's a variety, premium choose, you can see the dates, you can see that they're 4 or 2 installments, and you can add that. You can calculate the full total for an estimation. So that's really all I wanted to go through at this qualifying call. Since you're the only one on, Jacqueline, at this point, did you want to ask any questions about that?
What's that none next to Rhiannon?
None. Okay, so none means that she's gone in to cancel her next shipment. So
okay.
Yeah, so and every customer actually has access. When they receive an email, they can actually go in and cancel their own order if they don't communicate that with you to cancel it. So yeah, you can go in and you can cancel the order. And sometimes for me, even now, and I'm Q, that confuses me because I need to know, okay, when did Rhiannon start? And is she still on the 4 installments? It says active. So in my mind, she must have 1 or 2 installments to go. But that's because I know when Rhiannon started. So you'll have to be mindful of your teamies and when there's a none, if they're active, and how to calculate that. So if you have any trouble, let me know. But we know that in this point in time, Rhiannon only started her own business last month or the month before. So for four installments, she has 2 to go. Okay, I'll stop the share there. Let's come back. Oh, we blitzed that in 15 minutes. That was good. Do you want to ask anything? I feel like your mind's ticking, Jack.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about, like, you know, obviously I've been focusing very heavily on team, and I need to obviously bring on 7 trios. I think that we worked out for me to be able to self-qualify. At what kind of strategies would you look at now?
So
now that we're halfway through.
On previous experience and what you can actually see through the Juice Plus company at this point, the promotion of 5 in 1, whilst that is a promotion to get a bigger paycheck, realistically, if you do aim for 5 customers a month and 1 teamie, you're going to have a successfully productive and evolving business. So I still believe if your goal is to make this more for yourself, potentially a full-time income, team is where it is at. But you can't attain 3 team and then just hang out with them, because once they hit SDVF, your business personally hasn't got new customers and or new team evolving. So my strategy for you, or for all of us that may be watching the recording, is to at least aim for 2 or 3 new team, because we know at least one of them will do something which will help with qualification. And also those customers will keep a healthy fruition, because we do have 4 installments, and idealistically we want to fill up the bathtub of clients. But some people, we don't do customer care, and you can turn the tap on of clients and then they can fall through the plug. And that's, you know, we don't want to try and keep replacing people.
No, because they're hard to get.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We put a lot of work into getting a customer. So really take the time to nourish that relationship, because it could be your next NMD. The statistics of clients becoming team are very high. And I really want everyone that watches this to take note that to treat your clients like you do your team. You love your team. When they first start, you're like, oh my gosh, it's my baby. And you want to show them off and you want to show them everything, and you are there for them nearly every day. And when we have a customer, we're like, okay, you're in, we've got you. And that's the mentality of some of us. And unfortunately, the customer isn't getting the true love and care that they deserve. And that's how sometimes we lose them. So yeah, it's an evolving thing. Don't feel like you have to get your 20 customers in one hit. If you do, that's amazing. But you know, if you still aim for 3 to 5 every month as a benchmark, you'll continue to thrive. Cool.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. Well, while I'm here, I'm going to add a note, because we saw Dina come on, but she's jumped off. America, you only have to get 1,000 points. So, and actually, you know what? I'm going to share my screen one more time before we finish this up. I haven't highlighted anything. I don't really need to, but I will just show you. When you come down to the USA, because you can see on the top here, it'll give you a country. So Spain, all of the rest. You'll get a big long list. I want to just get to USA, UAE, UK. Okay, USA. So when you get to USA, you're aiming for your 1,000 points, but you can see that they don't have premium. They have numbers. So that's why it's really important to go into the qualifiers album to be able to identify what those numbers mean. So then you can, it's still premium, it's still, but they have bars, and they also, mainly the bars that they have. And the pouches are a bit different. But yeah, so you get to know the qualifiers album, so you're able to understand how to get them to 1,000 points. I think that's all I really wanted to share about the USA. All right. Well, I might end the recording there. So I'm going to press stop.